what is going on in our society and the way forward. I'm Josephine Eyimihe, and this morning we'll be looking at increasing rates of banditry on the highways, the way forward. It's no longer news that whenever you are traveling, especially within the South, your heart will keep beating. Before, it used to happen in the northwestern region. We hear about banditry, bandits going to sack communities, burn down the village, and a lot of things going on. But now in the South, you can't travel anymore. And when you want to travel, you just have to keep praying and ensuring that these people don't meet you on the highways. And sometimes when you want to thinking of taking flight, you just, the money sometimes is not always there. So what are we going to do? We cannot continue like this. We cannot just, you can't just, when you want to travel, you'll be thinking, will I come back or will something happen to me? This kind of trend, we don't want it. And that's what we'll be looking at this morning. What is going on? Why is the rate of banditry increasing daily? What are the causes? And what is the way out? That's what we'll be looking at this morning on issues and answers. And we have some guests with us in the house who will be telling us on how to go about this problem. We have Festus Alenkhe with us this morning. Festus is a journalist and also a criminologist. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, viewers, and how you are doing today?
Okay, and let me ask, how do you feel right now this morning?
I feel good, always very good.
All right, thank you. This is in northwestern region, and it's like a big issue to them. But right now, what we are having is terrible. Please, can you tell us, as a criminologist, what are the causes of this increasing rates of banditry, especially on the highways?
But not just, before we go into causes, let's really just lay a little foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, because banditry on the highway didn't start today. It has been an issue that has been happening nationwide. But just as you have it galloping, it's high in some areas and also low in some areas. It has always been there in the northern part of the country, northeast to be precise, like you have Zamfara State, you have Yobe State, you have Borno State, and all those other areas. It has always been there. But now coming back to the southern part of the country, especially the south, it has always been there as well. Especially those who travel on Benin-Lagos Road, they have always experienced this kind of situation before. Those who travel on Benin-Auchi, Abuja Expressway, they have always experienced this. And even those traveling on Saple Wari Road and Benin-Agbo Road, even Benin-Abraka Road. Now let's look at Benin City. From my investigation, we see Benin as a town, we call it get-away state and gateway state. They are two different things. Get away means they come in here, strike and get away. They are not from this town, they are not from this state. Do you understand? So they will just strike in here and get away. That's, we call it get-away state. Now, gateway state means it's a state that serves so many other states. From Benin, from ring roads in Benin, you can access all parts of the country. You can access the northern part through Auchi Road. You can access the western part through Benin-Lagos Road. You can access the eastern part through the Agbo Road. And then you can access the southeastern part through the Saple Road to Port Harcourt, Calabar, and all those other areas. This is why we call it gateway states. So most of these criminals come into the states and strike and get away. Now in the past we used to call it highway robber. That's where that name comes in. Highway robber means they used to rob on the highway and get away. But now, because of the situation, you now find them in most routes. In Edo State, for instance, there are
what kind of routes. Sorry, what kind of situation
Yeah,
are you talking
the
about?
situation now is, that's why we'd like to go into causes. Some will want to blame it on unemployment, and others will want to blame it on greed. Because when you say people, there's this popular saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Do you understand? So when you look at this, you now agree with me that people who are idle tend to take to crime. People who really don't know what to do tend to take to crime. And when you look at such situation, you see them engaging in series of criminal activities. Then coming back to the highway, along the Benin Lagos Road, there's a particular area there, we call it Ubomudia Farm. There's another spot there, after Ubomudia Farm, towards Okada. The Edo State aspect of it, you see criminals manning those areas. Then coming back to Auchi Road, you see between Eho and Iwekwe, you see before Igeduma, all those hills and those corners on the highway, you see some of those criminals hanging around there. But the joy now, Edo State will now continue to smile. You know why? The governor has taken it very strongly. The Inspector General of Police has taken it very strongly. The Commissioner of Police Edo State, they are all on the same plane right now towards ensuring that the people travel on these routes safely. So maybe after now I will come back to let you know what is being done on those routes.
Okay, because we really like to know what is really going on. I wanted to travel last week, but because of what is going on, I have to stay behind. Sir, Mr. Morege, the lack of effective community policing also contributes to the high rates of bandits on our ways and also within the community.
That's definitely the issue. The best weapon against civil and banditry issues or crimes and activities emanates from the home and community immediately. So if we are able to effectively utilize the advantages of the community policing, we will be way ahead of dealing with the crisis. If we look at the communities you just rightly mentioned now, there are immediate settlements. If you look, if one is careful enough, you see the banditry activities mostly centered around idle, what I call it, idle farm catchment areas, where this issue of getting away, acting as a buffer zone for them to be able to hijack unsuspected travelers happens. So if you have an immediate community supported with the required government and training background to look into those areas, we'll be able to deal with challenges coming from that area. I would want to allude to some advances now, because we are looking at our solutions. If we can get to support lines for trained cannons, dogs, to help us look into this, because government is doing a lot, clearing the bushes,
okay,
so that we can get a wide view as you are moving across this area. Experts here, I want to put light on that one. Because in addition to that, there should be other areas that we can easily pick and come in.
Mr. Alenkhe, while you were talking, you mentioned some of these areas that are easily prone for this banditry attack. And I believe those areas, they have traditional, there is a community. What are the roles? Are these community leaders, are they not playing enough role to ensure that they have aliens on that particular area and how to deal with them as against waiting for government all the time? What are the traditional ways of dealing with this kind of persons?
Well, you know that in the past we used to have traditional way of carrying out, of protecting our environment. And then that we call it civil defense that time when we were coming up. But in proper Benin language, they call it Ode. Ode means you have to organize people in the streets. They carry cutlass, they carry day gun and other weapons, and then they put barricade at night to protect the communities from attack or rather invasion. But these persons we're talking about now, they are not really attacking the communities. So the community for them does not feel anything from them, because they come through the forest and strike on the express road and return back to the forest. Do you understand? But the issue now is, these persons will just walk in. Are you even aware? Because I don't want to raise alarm. Are you even aware that some communities too, most of them have been attacked in the farm? Some farmers have been driven away.
Yes.
Do you understand? So when you pursue these farmers away, you take over their farmland, and from there you invade the road. But there's good news now. Based on the recent happenings in the state, the governor cried. He interacted with the commissioner because he is the chief security officer as far as Edo State is concerned today. Governor Godwin Obaseki constitutionally is the CSO of Edo State, and he cannot sit down and allow his state to be in turmoil. So he made some very strong moves. He contacted the Inspector General of Police, he contacted the military authority in Abuja, and today you can see the outcome. So many of these persons right now have been arrested, and if you go to Benin Auchiro now, there's what they call, they are reclaiming the place.
Okay.
When I say reclaim, the military authority, let me just say, joint security task force, made up of the army, the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and other organizations. They have all moved together onto this road. As we speak right now, they are combing. Combing means they are advancing inside the forest, because these people, they lay siege inside the forest and wait for flashy cars to pass. They have informants along the road.
I mean, they don't enter the community, they just along
Yes,
the road.
no, they just won't come to the road straight away. They remain inside the bush and put informants on the express road, who will tell them that, like a mile away, they will say, there's one jeep, is black in color, registration number, this, that, and then there are some flashing and punchy persons inside the jeep. Do you understand? And then you are giving that information via phone, like a mile away. And as the vehicle is approaching, you just see them on the center of the road, pre-boundary, they open fire. Once they open fire, the first thing they try to target is the driver, to force the vehicle to stop. And thereafter, they will first rob them, and then move them into the bush and start to call for ransom. But now, the joint task force on security that have been put in place in those states, they have dislodged them. If you have been monitoring development in this state for some time now, you agree that so many arrests have been made. Some persons who were already kidnapped and kept in the bush have been released. So I'm very confident that those state people will be at peace between now, Christmas, and after the Christmas.
That's a very cheering news. For those of us that still love to take the road, I believe this bandit, they have timing. From your own investigation, what time do these people come out to launch their attack?
Most times they come out in the morning, and then they come out in the evening. And then they usually come out Saturdays, because they believe that most persons will travel Friday evening, Friday morning, those going for ceremonies, especially those going for wedding ceremonies. Friday morning, Saturday evening, and then you see them on the express during the week as well. So if you look at it, they do what we call random kidnapping.
So there is no timing.
Yes, random kidnapping. They don't really have who to kidnap in mind. They can target the whole full bus load and start to pick some people out. Then when they look at 18-seater bus and they see the 18 people already in the vehicle, they will know those that will have money. So sometimes it's not so good to pray to have good body.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
area is calm at the moment now.
All right. I want to say that's very good news, that area is calm, and we hope, Mr. Alenkhe, will you rate our security agencies eye on this regard concerning intelligence gathering? Because we find out that most of the times we are being reactive as against proactive. And you see the thing going on, and before you now see the security agencies coming into waiting. Do you rate them eye on intelligence gathering?
Well, intelligence gathering, by my training, is not what we discuss in the public domain.
Okay.
Because there are so many things that go with gathering of intelligence. And when you gather information relating to criminal attacks, there's an agency you send it to. So it is now left for the agency to put them together and eventually react. It has always helped. We have had cases where some persons tried to go and kidnap, and before they got to where they were going to kidnap, they were brought down. We have a case that happened in this town 2 days ago in Benin City. It was through intelligence they were brought down. 4 armed robbery suspects were going to attack a petrol station in Benin. And behold, according to the suspect, I interviewed the suspect directly, and he told me that they were just landing the petrol station to attack, and then there was gunfire everywhere. It goes to show that there was already an intelligence that they were coming to attack the petrol station, but before they could get out of the vehicle, there was already an attack. And that is the story that is on air right now. And that guy we are seeing on air now was in Upper Market police station. He was one of those that carted away AK-47 rifle belonging to the Nigerian police. He sold the AK to some herdsmen. And thereafter they went to petrol station for this attack. But before they arrived at the petrol station, 4 of them, before they arrived, there was already an attack on them. 2 were killed on the spot. He was arrested alive and 1 escaped. So when you talk of intelligence, to me, it's still working. But intelligence is not what you come to the public domain to discuss. So I will not be in a position now to tell you how intelligence are gathered.
No, I'm talking about the score. Do you score them high or?
It's very high. It's high as far as I'm concerned. No,
in Nigeria.
The only issue we have right now, there's so-called NIA. NIA is an intelligence agency in Nigeria. We can't discuss that now, though. But it's embedded in Nigeria Constitution. Their duty is to gather information, gather all this, and send it to the relevant quarter.
All right.
So you also have it across the state or the federation. You even have it in local government areas. You won't even know them. There's no way you can know them, but their duty is to gather all this information and pass it to the relevant authorities.
Mr. Morgan, do you agree with him concerning the intelligence gathering? Do you score them high or they are still?
Obviously not. Because from a private perspective, I wouldn't want to measure the way he can conveniently say they are high because we expect results. Yes, he can point out results. But the point here is this. This society is enlarging, growing, activities, conflict, issues are, is this result commensurate with the growth? It's obvious, even if we don't do proper statistical analysis, if it's very glaring, you will see the difference. What are the end results? As far as I'm concerned, I won't say that the end result shows a high score. And I would not even want a government body to even score themselves.
Okay.
Rather, let us keep pushing and pushing at the area. We're privileged these days. Technology is more or less like cut and paste. We don't need to go and hire an eagle of our old days or an oracle to do some of these things. We need to develop our forensic laboratory. I know and I understand he doesn't want to talk about intelligence issues.
Yeah.
But the point is, to say the score is high, I don't think as a private person I would agree to that.
Compared to what we are seeing.
The issues on the ground are not there to support that the intelligence gathering are. It's more proactive. People, if you look at
more reactive than being proactive.
More reactive than being proactive.
Proactive.
That is what is very glaring here.
Okay, we're still looking at
let me just cut in here. Still on that intelligence aspect. You know, like I said, whatever happens within intelligence circle is not what people know.
Yeah. Okay.
So you, the person anchoring this program now, may not even know. And most of us here will not know, because if we know, then what's the essence of the intelligence?
Okay.
So you may not know how to score them because you don't know their kind of activities. But the only aspect where I will need to advise the relevant government agencies who are watching this program now is we should try as much as possible to improve on our forensic aspect of investigation. Our scientific aspect of investigation. We should stay on this crude way in aspect of trying to make suspects tell you how they did it. But scientifically, you cannot just know and put the fact before the suspect.
Okay.
Because where I got this, I was in the UK a few months ago, and I worked with some of these undercover men, and I know how it's done. When they say murder case has been committed now, and nobody has been arrested, the police know how to go in there. First and foremost, they will want to sweep the walls, sweep the floor, and take the blood sample and go to the laboratory.
Fingerprints or something.
Do you understand? So when they take all this information and everything, they will analyze it, and from there, they'll be able to know who went to the house. Now tell me how they will now effect arrest. When they know who went to the house, they will take the fingerprint and put it into their National ID Card Center investigative team. They will not be able to know right there who that person was. Okay. So while you are asleep, they will just come for you. So when you deny, they bring all this facts, and they don't even need to shout on you. You just see it, and thereafter they bring the camera. So Nigeria today must have some of these facilities.
That's where I want to move.
Yes.
When you're talking about the UK, it's very common how they get solve murder cases.
Yes.
But we don't even know what is happening, whether the forensic laboratory is still functional or highly effective.
We have here.
Okay.
The retired IGP, Arase, when he was IGP of this country, he went in touch with some foreign nations.
Right.
Through the NIA and other agencies. They were able to bring some of these facilities. As I speak to you now, one is in Edo State, a big van with all the facilities in. So we just need to improve on them so we can be able to go this way.
I agree with you. We have to improve on them. Concerning this banditry on our highways, I was thinking most of these hunters, because most of these the bandits, they operate in the night also,
Yeah.
and most hunters, they go to the forest to kill animals in the night, and a lot of things happen while working, even the farmers. So they have some kind of information how these people stay, where they stay, and how they operate. Concerning information gathering, do those people, for instance, if I have this information that this set of people normally comes to this place at this particular time, do they have that channel to channel the information to the appropriate quarter, especially those of them in that part of the, do they have the channel, the right channel to pass the information?
Well, the only thing I would just say, my colleague in the studio, on this information gathering and intelligence gathering, we'll just leave it out of public discourse.
Okay.
You know why? If a community, for instance, come up now to give information, it's not something we'll come to discuss here. The reason is, by the time one or two of those suspects are arrested, others who must have escaped will regroup and return back to that community and attack them. We have had cases like that. So because of that, every information from some of those areas are usually very classified.
All right. Do we have enough police posts, like more police stations? Because if you go to some communities, there are no police stations. You need to travel to some local government headquarters. Do you think not having enough police stations can still contribute to this?
Yeah, what you are talking about now is now being replaced with community policing.
Okay.
Yeah, if you watch lately, you saw when the governor was in the police training school in Benin, Atogida here, where over 700 constabularies graduated. Constabularies are those currently recruited by the state government but trained by the police. The state government will pay their salaries and every other thing. Their duty is to return back to all their communities, is to return back to the walls. Theirs is to work in collaboration with the police, the vigilante, and other security agents. So, based on what you have just said, constabularies today that have just been graduated will eventually replace all this information gathering aspect we're talking about now.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, do you think we are security agents, they are well trained, well equipped to deal with these increasing waves of bandits, kind of criminal activities? We should teach on this forensic, all this laboratory.
So it's already a course in some of the tertiary institutions.
Okay.
You have a criminology department in some of these institutions in Nigeria today. But we can, just like the way we do GST, in 100 level in the university, just like the way you also see general studies in some other areas. So I can encourage that there should be security studies, could be 100 level or 200 level, where you train some of these young ones to let them know that if you commit crime, this is going to be the outcome. And then to also train them too on how to beat crime. So to me, I'm recommending it to the Federal Ministry of Education to see how best they can bring in security studies. The way we have GST too, then let us also have security studies, and then they will now make it a core course, for students of the tertiary institutions.
Then let's talking about sustainability. Most of these commercial vehicle owners, I believe most of the drivers, because they can drive, they will just give them the bus to move. Do you think training concerning this criminology, how to handle this, is necessary for them to know before engaging on our highways?
It's even good too, if you want to bring in that. Some of those drivers are also into criminal activities. We have had cases where a full bus load will be diverted by the driver.
Wow.
It has happened. And some of the stories we even have now, some of them will tell you they are bus drivers. They will say, I am a bus driver. And many of them said they are bus drivers. So it takes by the grace of God for us to actually know those who are criminals and those who are not criminals. We have reported cases here where people will enter vehicle from King Square, going to either Agbo Road or going to other part of Ipobahi by Temboga Junction. The vehicle will divert. They will take them through into Temboga Junction, rob them, sometimes rape them, and throw them on the vehicle, and they just go. So that is why that has taken us back to Temboga Junction. We've been raising our line, we'll be calling on the relevant authority. We see this opportunity now to appeal to the Joint Task Force on Security that is doing great job in Benin, in Edo State right now. Please, Temboga Road is another very hot spot that must be given adequate attention. Because there's river at the other side. The Ipoba River is at the other side, and then the right side of it, you just have residential quarters. By 5 p.m., they are already in their homes. If you start driving through that route from 6:37, you are on your own. So the way the military right now and the police and others are clearing all the highways, they should also move into Temboga area and see how best they can clear the area of criminal activities. So what we need to do now is for us to start identifying areas that are hotspots. Then such things should be passed to the relevant executive that are currently clearing the city.
And that will come to mind there, especially those people too. The people should pass information. People living in that area,
of course.
They should always channel the information. When you notice that your area is becoming a very hot spot, flashpoint for criminal activities, they should pass the information to the appropriate. Most of these flashpoints being manned by security operatives right now. And there's a news on social media that people should avoid traveling during this U-tide. What is your advice? Do you still advise them not to travel, or they should travel?
The news I saw has nothing to do with security problem. Okay. Because it was the Minister of Health and then the chairman of the chairman of the presidential committee on COVID-19 advised Nigerians to minimize travel in this period because there is this alarm of second wave of coronavirus coming up. Okay. And is thinking, or the thinking of the committee is that let Nigerians this U-type period reduce traveling. Okay. If you must travel, you must see it to be business in nature, and you must see it to be very possibly on earth ground. But if it's just for leisure, they are saying stay in your home. All right, this period.
But for those that love to, we know there are certain parts of our people that love traveling during the Christmas period.
But they are saying if it is for leisure, for this year 2020, federal government is saying remain where you are. One, it is somebody who is alive that want to travel.
Okay.
Would you like to travel and return back sick?
What about the road?
Would you want to travel? I'm coming there. Would you want to travel and return back dead? So for the roads, I know that security agencies are already on ground. So to me, I really don't have any fear when it comes to traveling on the road over security situation. But we fear that, one, you are traveling with your family, possibly in your private car, and you have all the family members in the same car. And then you travel a distance, you get off the car to buy some few things on the road, you are missing out with people. Then you continue to travel, and then you miss up again in the village with the people. Do you understand? And then some that don't have their personal cars, you are traveling in a public bus, and you, maybe 4-seater at the back, then the other 4, and before you know it, the bus is crowded. So they are the opinion that because the second wave of COVID-19 is already coming in, UK have already locked down, some other European nations are gradually locking down. So, but Nigeria is saying we are scared of our economy if we lock down now. Because you know what is going on now? There's already second wave of recession within 2-3 years in Nigeria. So this country cannot afford another lockdown over Corona. So what we are doing right now is preventive measures. Let's see how we can, protect our economy. Let's see how we can ensure that our people, are well monitored. And that's why federal government came up with that. So it's not really on security. To me, if it's that on security, and you say people should travel. Because yes, you know the reason. You cannot leave the road for criminals. We must travel. That is why we have paid security agencies that is constitutionally embedded to protect the citizens. of Nigeria. So to me, in terms of security, people can travel, but for health reason, over COVID-19 wave coming up now, I advise that people should stay in their various homes.
Okay, for the COVID. Before I come to you, what are the tips there in criminologies? What are the security tips you have to know when traveling on the highways and other security tips for us to
The
do
only
right
thing
now?
that we keep telling people, first, before you travel, you must be sure that your vehicle is in good shape. You must be sure that you have all the side mirrors and inner mirrors working. And you must be sure too that the lighting of your vehicle, both the front and the back, is working. And then you must be sure that your tires are in good condition. You have serviced the car. Based on that, you can embark on a journey. Then number two, we advise that people should avoid night traveling. Two things go with night traveling. One is accidents, and then the driver may not be able to see pothole, or maybe a trailer is spoiled on the road, the driver driving because we have poor visibility, especially if it rains at night. And that's going to put the driver and the passengers in serious danger. So we advise that people should avoid night traveling. And then when you travel, we advise people bring down the volume of your music system in the car. The reason is there are times you are driving on the highway and then they are robbing ahead of you. People behind are shouting, and because you are blaring your music in a very high tune, you just run into them. So, then number two, some persons travel with AC, they wind their glass up, window blind up completely, and when they are traveling, they won't hear anything. So we advise that when you are on the highway, bring down the glasses, bring it down the windscreen a little so that you can see left and right, and then you must be focused. So when you drive like half a kilometer, you notice that no other vehicle is coming, and that's a very busy road. We advise that you wait. We advise that you quickly look for an area you have people with little population, you park and observe the road before you continue.
Okay, what about posting your pictures, like on my way to Port Harcourt right
Like
now?
what we tell people is, yes, people do it a lot, and they want to tell the world that they are going to be in Port Harcourt in the next hour. So what we tell people is, why not go to a Port Harcourt quietly? If you must post, when you return back from your Port Harcourt journey, you can post. But posting to say you'll be in Warri tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. is suicidal. Because people can follow you up and get you down in Warri. So the advice we give to people right now is, do not let people know your movement. And are you even aware that somebody wants to go to the bank to withdraw money? And you are shouting for your neighbor to know that you are going to withdraw money. Especially this youth time, where your children, family members want to send money abroad for you to go to the nearest bank or wherever to go and take money, and then you are shouting the code number, you are shouting the secret code of which you are going to use to collect money from the bank, and then your neighbor will now know, everybody will now know, all your friends in your contact will now know that in the next 1 hour you are going to collect money, because you want to look like what they call big guy. So you are putting yourself in danger. So the little advice is, if you must go to bank to collect money and all, nobody must know. Very important.
Nobody must know. Everything should be done codedly.
For now.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Morige. This is Edo State. Let's bring it back to our state. And it's our dear state, a peaceful state. And recently, you saw what's going on. Our boys being killed daily due to criminal activities. So, as a son, a proper son too in the land, what do you advise to our young men to stop these killings that we have right now in the state? Before we go, the program, the time is almost gone. Mr. Alenkhe, the contact numbers of most of these security agents, can we get them in case we are in one problem, God forbid, or the other?
No, we don't even need to be a problem to have security agents.
Okay.
You understand? So because having security agent number in our phones is very important.
All right.
And we advise that they have the numbers, but for viewers, you must find a way to store it, but don't put security, don't put police, don't put military. Store it the way you understand it.
Okay.
Do you understand? So you can just store it in the way you know you will understand it in case of any emergency. So somebody must not wait for him or her to be in tension or distress before you call the security. Your neighbor, your friend, or anybody you know can be in distress. So you can have opportunity of calling the security agents for such person. So, but For now, we have this one from 4 Brigade, because they have extended Operation Crocodile Smile to Edo State.
All right.
And that's Crocodile Smile 6. That's, you have 1, 2, 3 in other regions. And part of this Operation Crocodile Smile number 6. They're already in Benin. And then they've just released what they call helplines. And then it's 080 79 83 1567. I take it again. 080 79 83 1567. That's the first one. This takes you straight to military control room in Benin. And then the second number is 080 79 83.
I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna hold you like I'm saying goodbye.